The following morning, the city awoke to a subtle but undeniable shift. For most of Charleston, life continued in its usual rhythm, with bustling markets and cobblestone streets brimming with activity. But at Charleston Trust Bank, the atmosphere was electric. Whispers of Elon Musk's revelation spread like wildfire among the staff. Some dismissed it as a stunt, while others, particularly Anna, understood that something profound was unfolding, a transformation that could reshape everything they thought they knew about their work, their values, and the very institution they served. Anna arrived early, her heart a tumult of anticipation and uncertainty. The weight of Elon's offer lingered heavily on her mind. She glanced at his business card, still tucked neatly in her wallet, its sharp edges a reminder of the moment that had changed her life. Was she truly ready to step into this new role, to leave behind the familiar confines of the bank for a future filled with unknowns? She sat at her desk, her hands folded in her lap, and exhaled deeply. One small act of courage, she thought. The words had carried her this far, but the next step felt immeasurably larger. Elon Musk arrived just as the bank opened, his presence both commanding and understated. He was dressed in a crisp navy blazer and a white shirt, his usual air of purpose unmistakable. As he entered the lobby, the staff fell silent, their conversations trailing off mid-sentence. He made his way to Anna's desk, his gaze steady and kind. "Good morning, Anna," he said, his tone warm. "Good morning, Mr. Musk," she replied, her voice steady despite the quickening of her pulse. "Elon," he corrected gently, a faint smile on his lips. "I wanted to check in with you. I know yesterday was a lot." Anna nodded, choosing her words carefully. "It was overwhelming, yes, but also inspiring. I'm still processing everything." "That's understandable," Elon said, his voice soft but firm. "This isn't an easy decision, and it shouldn't be. What you're stepping into is challenging, but it's also an opportunity to make a real difference." Anna met his gaze, her own eyes reflecting a mix of resolve and uncertainty. "I want to make that difference," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I'm afraid I might not be enough." Elon's expression softened, his demeanor shifting from that of a billionaire visionary to something far more human. He leaned slightly closer, his voice dropping to a quieter tone. "Anna, do you know why I chose you?" She shook her head, her throat tightening with emotion. "Because you saw a person when others saw a problem," Elon said simply. "That's not something I can teach. That's who you are. And that's exactly what we need." The bank's manager, Mr. Reynolds, watched the exchange from his office with a mix of wariness and resignation. He had spent decades climbing the ladder, navigating corporate politics, and perfecting the art of maintaining appearances. But now, with Elon Musk's acquisition looming, his carefully constructed world felt precariously close to collapse. Reynolds tapped his pen against his desk, his thoughts racing. Part of him resented Elon's intrusion, the audacity of a man who could walk in and append everything with a single declaration. But another part of him, the part he rarely acknowledged, felt a twinge of admiration. Perhaps this was the kind of shake-up the bank truly needed. His eyes drifted to Anna, who was now deep in conversation with Elon. He remembered the young trainee's first day, her earnestness and quiet determination. She had always been different, though he hadn't realized how different until now. Later that day, Elon gathered the staff in the bank's conference room. The space, with its polished wood table and elegant light fixtures, had always been a symbol of exclusivity, a place where decisions were made behind closed doors. But today, it was filled with a sense of anticipation that bordered on tension. Elon stood at the head of the table, his posture relaxed but his presence commanding. Anna sat near the corner, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She felt the weight of every gaze in the room, the whispers and judgments that lingered just beneath the surface. "Thank you all for being here," Elon began, his voice steady and clear. "I know the past few days have been unusual, to say the least. But I want to take this opportunity to share my vision for Charleston Trust Bank." He paused, letting his words settle in the room. The staff watched him intently, their expressions ranging from skepticism to curiosity. "This bank has the potential to be more than just a financial institution," Elon continued. "It can be a force for good, a place where everyone, regardless of their background, their wealth, or their circumstances, is treated with dignity and respect." A murmur rippled through the room. Susan, seated near the middle of the table, leaned slightly forward. "And how exactly do you plan to do that?" she asked, her tone edged with skepticism. Elon met her gaze without flinching. By starting with the people in this room, he said. Change doesn't happen from the top down. It starts with individuals. Individuals like Anna, who had the courage to act on principle when it would have been easier to stay silent. All eyes turned to Anna, and she felt her cheeks flush. She wanted to shrink under their scrutiny, but Elon's steady presence beside her gave her strength. After the meeting, Anna found herself standing alone in the break room, staring out the window at the bustling street below. The weight of everything felt almost too much to bear. She had always wanted to make a difference, but she had never imagined it would come with so much pressure. "You okay?" a familiar voice asked. She turned to see David leaning against the doorway, his expression concerned. "I'm not sure," Anna admitted, her voice trembling. "This is all happening so fast." David stepped closer, his tone gentle. "You've always been the kind of person who sees the good in others, Anna. That's rare. And it's why you're the perfect person for this." Anna's eyes filled with tears, and she quickly wiped them away. "I'm just afraid I'll let everyone down," she said. David shook his head. "You won't," he said firmly. "You've already proven you're stronger than you think." As the day wound down, Elon approached Anna one last time. They stood near the entrance of the bank, the golden hues of the setting sun casting long shadows across the floor. "Anna," he said, his tone gentle but resolute. "Tomorrow, we start building something new. Something better. Are you ready?" She took a deep breath, her heart steadying. "Yes," she said, her voice filled with quiet determination. "I'm ready." Elon smiled, the kind of smile that carried the weight of belief. "Then let's get to work." As Anna watched Elon walk away into the evening, she felt a profound sense of purpose settle over her. The road ahead would be difficult, filled with challenges she couldn't yet foresee. But for the first time, she truly believed she could face them. One small act of courage, she thought, clutching the note in her pocket. It changes everything. And as the city lights flickered to life around her, Anna knew she was stepping into a future she could finally believe in. A future where humanity, compassion, and integrity could triumph over indifference. A future she would help build, one courageous act at a time. The morning light spilled over Charleston, bathing the city in a golden hue that promised a new beginning. For Anna, the day carried the weight of profound change. She had barely slept the night before, her mind racing with thoughts of what lay ahead. The memory of Elon Musk's steady voice and resolute gaze stayed with her, anchoring her amidst the whirlwind of emotions. As she arrived at Charleston Trust Bank, Anna could feel the difference in the air. The usual hum of conversations and quiet routine was replaced by a palpable sense of uncertainty. Staff members gathered in small clusters, their voices hushed but tinged with curiosity. Elon's acquisition of the bank had sent ripples through the institution, shaking the foundation of its long-standing norms. Elon entered the bank just as the clock struck 9, his presence immediately commanding attention. He was dressed simply but impeccably, a quiet authority radiating from him. He nodded politely to the staff as he walked toward the conference room, where a meeting had been scheduled to outline the first steps of his vision. Anna followed closely behind, clutching a notebook to steady her hands. She glanced at Elon, marveling at how calm he seemed in the face of such monumental change. She couldn't help but wonder what drove him, what fueled his relentless pursuit of a better system. Inside the conference room, the air was thick with anticipation. Mr. Reynolds sat stiffly near the head of the table, his expression guarded. Susan was there too, her polished demeanor masking the unease that flickered in her eyes. Other staff members filled the seats, their faces a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. Elon began with his characteristic calm. "Thank you all for being here," he said, his voice carrying a warmth that contrasted with the tension in the room. "I understand that change is never easy, and what we're about to do is no small undertaking. But I believe in this institution, and I believe in the people in this room." He paused, letting his words settle before continuing. "Our goal is to create a bank that serves everyone, not just those who meet arbitrary thresholds of wealth or status. This isn't just about policy changes. It's about building a culture of empathy, respect, and inclusivity." As Elon spoke, Anna found herself captivated by his vision. His words resonated deeply, reigniting her own belief in the power of small acts to spark larger change. Yet, she couldn't ignore the undercurrent of resistance in the room. She glanced at Susan, whose lips were pressed into a thin line, and Mr. Reynolds, whose posture remained rigid. "Mr. Musk," Susan said finally, her tone measured but sharp, "I appreciate your enthusiasm, but this bank has been operating successfully for decades. What makes you think such sweeping changes are necessary? Elon met her gaze without hesitation. Success shouldn't be measured solely by profitability, he replied. It should be measured by the impact we have on the lives of the people we serve. Right now, there are countless individuals who are excluded, overlooked, or dismissed because they don't fit a certain mold. That needs to change. Susan opened her mouth to respond, but Elon continued before she could. And I'm not asking you to believe in this vision immediately. I'm asking you to give it a chance, to see the results for yourself. After the meeting, Anna lingered in the conference room, her thoughts swirling. Elon approached her, his expression thoughtful. You did well today, he said, his tone encouraging. I didn't say anything, Anna replied, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Sometimes, silence is just as powerful as words, Elon said. You're observing, listening, and that's exactly what we need right now. Anna nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Thank you, she said softly. I won't let you down. I know, Elon replied. That's why you're here. Over the next few days, the transformation of Charleston Trust Bank began in earnest. Elon wasted no time implementing changes, starting with the most visible aspects of the institution. The bank's marketing materials were redesigned to emphasize inclusivity, with slogans like banking for everyone replacing the old, elitist messaging. Anna worked closely with Elon, her days filled with meetings, strategy sessions, and training workshops. Despite the long hours, she felt invigorated by the work. Each step forward, no matter how small, felt like a victory. One afternoon, as Anna reviewed a new customer service policy, David approached her desk. You're really in the thick of it now, huh? He said, his tone light but tinged with admiration. Anna looked up, smiling. It's a lot, she admitted. But it feels meaningful. Like we're actually doing something that matters. David nodded, leaning against her desk. I have to say, I didn't see this coming. But I'm glad it's you. You've always had a way of seeing what others don't. Anna felt her cheeks flush. Thank you, she said, her voice quiet. That means a lot. One of the most significant changes came in the form of a new initiative spearheaded by Elon and Anna, a community outreach program designed to bring banking services to underserved areas. The program included financial literacy workshops, mobile banking units, and partnerships with local organizations. On the day of the program's launch, Anna joined Elon at a community center on the outskirts of Charleston. The center buzzed with activity as residents of all ages gathered to learn about the new services. Anna felt a mix of nerves and excitement as she helped set up the registration table. A middle-aged woman approached, her expression cautious but curious. Is this really for anyone? She asked, her voice hesitant. Anna smiled warmly. Yes, it is, she said. No minimum balances, no hidden fees, just a chance to manage your money in a way that works for you. The woman's eyes softened, and she nodded. Thank you, she said quietly. This means a lot. As the day went on, Anna watched as more and more people stepped through the doors, their initial skepticism giving way to hope. She caught Elon's eye across the room, and he nodded, his expression one of quiet pride. That evening, as they packed up the event, Anna turned to Elon. Do you ever get tired? She asked, her voice filled with genuine curiosity. Of fighting for all of this? Elon paused, considering her question. Sometimes, he admitted. But then I think about moments like today, when you see the impact on someone's life, even in a small way. That's what keeps me going. Anna nodded, his words resonating deeply. She thought back to the note he had given her, the simple yet profound reminder that courage could change everything. And in that moment, she felt a renewed determination to keep moving forward, no matter the challenges ahead. As the weeks turned into months, Charleston Trust Bank began to transform from the inside out. The culture of exclusivity that had once defined it gave way to one of openness and empathy. Employees who had initially resisted the changes found themselves inspired by the results, their skepticism replaced by a sense of purpose. Anna, now a key figure in the bank's leadership, grew into her role with confidence and grace. She faced setbacks and challenges, but she approached each one with the same quiet determination that had caught Elon's attention in the first place. One evening, as she stood in the lobby of the bank, watching customers interact with the newly trained staff, Anna felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She thought back to the first day Elon had walked through the doors, his presence igniting a spark that had since grown into a flame of transformation. Elon joined her, his hands in his pockets and a small smile on his face. "You've done well, Anna," he said. "We've done well," she replied, her voice filled with gratitude. He nodded, his gaze thoughtful. "This is just the beginning," he said. "There's so much more we can do." And as they stood there, side by side, Anna knew he was right. Their journey was far from over, but together, they were building something extraordinary, one act of courage at a time. Months passed, and Charleston Trust Bank was unrecognizable from its former self. What had once been an institution defined by exclusivity and unspoken hierarchies had transformed into a space of inclusion, innovation, and humanity. Customers from all walks of life now filled its marble halls, their apprehension replaced by confidence and hope. The changes were no longer just procedural, they were cultural, and their ripple effects were being felt far beyond Charleston. For Anna, the transformation was deeply personal. The shy trainee who once hesitated to speak up had grown into a leader who inspired others. Every day brought new challenges, but also new opportunities to make a difference. Yet, even as she thrived in her role, she couldn't shake the feeling that their work was just beginning. One crisp autumn morning, Anna arrived at the bank to find Elon Musk waiting for her in the lobby. He was dressed casually, his demeanor relaxed yet purposeful. "Good morning," he said, his tone warm. "Good morning," Anna replied, smiling. "I didn't know you'd be here today." "I wanted to talk to you," Elon said, gesturing toward a quiet corner. "There's something I've been thinking about." Anna followed him, her curiosity piqued. They sat across from each other at a small table, the hum of the bank fading into the background. "I'm proud of what we've accomplished here," Elon began, his voice steady. "But this was never just about one bank. It was about creating a model, a blueprint for how financial institutions can truly serve people." Anna nodded, sensing the weight of his words. "You want to expand," she said. Elon smiled faintly. "Not just expand. Transform. We've proven that it's possible to build a bank rooted in empathy and accessibility. Now it's time to take that vision to a broader scale." Later that day, Elon called a meeting with the bank's leadership team. The room buzzed with a mix of excitement and apprehension as he outlined his plan. Charleston Trust Bank would serve as the foundation for a larger initiative, one that would bring inclusive banking to communities across the country, and eventually the world. "This isn't about opening more branches," Elon said, his tone firm. "It's about creating partnerships, leveraging technology, and empowering local leaders to build systems that work for their communities. Every place has its unique challenges, and our role is to listen, adapt, and support." Anna felt a surge of inspiration as she listened. She could see the potential of Elon's vision, the possibility of reaching people who had been excluded from financial systems for far too long. Yet, she also felt the weight of the task ahead. The first step of the expansion was to identify communities that could benefit most from their model. Anna was tasked with leading a pilot program in a small town in Alabama, where access to banking services was limited, and financial literacy resources were scarce. The assignment was daunting, but Anna embraced it with determination. On her first visit to the town, she met with local leaders, small business owners, and residents to understand their needs. She spent hours listening to their stories of resilience, frustration, and hope. One evening, Anna sat with a woman named Clara, who ran a small bakery in the heart of the town. Clara had built her business from the ground up, but she struggled to secure loans and manage her finances. "I just want to provide for my family," Clara said, her voice heavy with emotion. "But it feels like the system isn't built for people like me." Anna reached across the table, her hand resting gently on Clara's. "We're here to change that," she said. "You shouldn't have to fight so hard to build something beautiful." Clara's eyes filled with tears, and she nodded. "Thank you," she said quietly. "That means more than you know." Back at the bank, Anna worked tirelessly to design a program tailored to the town's needs. She collaborated with local organizations, developed workshops on financial literacy, and implemented a mobile banking unit to reach residents in remote areas. The work was challenging, but every small success reaffirmed her belief in their mission. Elon visited the town during the program's launch, his presence drawing attention from local media. Together, he and Anna spoke at a community event, sharing their vision for a future where banking served everyone. "This isn't just about money," Elon said, his voice resonating through the crowd. "It's about dignity, opportunity, and empowerment. Every person here deserves a chance to thrive, and we're committed to making that possible." The applause that followed was thunderous, but what moved Anna most were the faces in the crowd, faces filled with hope, gratitude, and a renewed sense of possibility. As the months went on, the pilot program's success became a beacon for other communities. Requests poured in from towns and cities across the country, each eager to adopt the model that had transformed Charleston Trust Bank and the small town in Alabama. Anna found herself traveling more frequently, meeting with stakeholders, presenting at conferences, and overseeing new initiatives. The work was exhausting, but it was also deeply fulfilling. She thought often of Elon's words, the reminder that their mission was about people, not profits. One evening, after a particularly long day, Anna found herself sitting alone in her hotel room. She stared out the window at the city below, the lights twinkling like stars against the darkness. She thought about how far she had come, from a hesitant trainee to a leader shaping a movement. Her phone buzzed, and she glanced at the screen. It was a message from Elon. "You're doing incredible work. Never forget why we started this." Anna smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. She replied simply, "Thank you. I won't." As the years went on, the initiative grew beyond what Anna or Elon could have imagined. Their model became a gold standard for inclusive banking, inspiring changes in financial institutions around the world. Yet, even as the movement expanded, Anna remained grounded in the values that had guided her from the beginning. During a speech at a global financial summit, Anna reflected on the journey that had brought her there. "This all started with a single act of courage," she said, her voice steady. "One person choosing to see another not as a problem, but as a human being. That's the foundation of everything we've built. And that's the legacy we're creating, a legacy of empathy, integrity, and hope." The audience rose to their feet, their applause echoing through the grand hall. But for Anna, the true reward wasn't the recognition. It was knowing that they were making a difference, one life at a time. That night, as Anna stood on the balcony of her hotel, Elon joined her, a quiet presence by her side. "Do you ever think about how it all started?" Anna asked, her voice soft. "Every day," Elon replied. "And I think about how it's only just beginning." Anna nodded, the weight of his words settling over her. She thought of Clara and the countless others whose lives had been touched by their work. She thought of the challenges still ahead, the systems still in need of change. But most of all, she thought of the courage it took to take that first step, and the infinite possibilities that followed. As the city lights shimmered around them, Anna felt a profound sense of peace. The journey was far from over, but she knew they were building something extraordinary, something that would outlast them both. And for the first time, she truly believed that the world could be changed, one act of courage at a time. The years had etched themselves into the very walls of Charleston Trust Bank, now renamed Equity First Bank. The building, once a symbol of exclusivity, had become a beacon of hope for the community. Its transformation mirrored the broader movement it had sparked, a ripple that grew into a wave, reshaping the financial industry across the nation. For Anna, the journey had been nothing short of extraordinary, though not without sacrifice. It was a crisp winter morning when Anna walked through the glass doors of the bank she had come to think of as home. Snowflakes dusted her coat and hair, their delicate patterns quickly melting in the warmth of the lobby. She paused, taking in the bustling scene before her. Customers greeted staff with smiles, children played in the small corner designated for families, and employees moved with a sense of purpose that was palpable. Elon Musk stood near the reception desk, speaking with Clara, the once struggling baker from Alabama whose story had become a cornerstone of their movement. Clara now served as a regional ambassador for the bank, using her experience to inspire others. Anna watched the exchange for a moment, marveling at how far they had all come. "Elon," Anna called, stepping forward. He turned, his face lighting up with a smile. "Anna," he said warmly. "Just the person I was hoping to see." They walked together toward a quiet corner of the bank, away from the flurry of activity. Elon's steps were measured, his expression thoughtful. Anna had come to recognize this look. It meant he had something important to discuss. "We've been invited to present at the Global Financial Equity Summit in Geneva," Elon began, his tone steady. "It's the largest platform we've ever had, and I want you to lead the presentation." Anna stopped in her tracks, her breath catching. "Me?" she asked, her voice filled with both surprise and trepidation. "Yes," Elon said firmly. "You've been at the heart of this movement from the beginning. You've lived it, shaped it, and carried it forward. There's no one better to tell our story. That evening, Anna sat in her office, the invitation letter from Geneva open on her desk. She ran her fingers over the embossed text, the weight of the responsibility settling on her shoulders. Memories flooded her mind, her first encounter with Elon, the note he had given her, the countless faces of people whose lives had been transformed by their work. Her phone buzzed, pulling her from her thoughts. It was David, her old colleague from the early days at Charleston Trust. He had left the bank years ago to pursue a different career, but they had remained close. "Anna," he said, his voice warm with familiarity. "I heard the news. Geneva. That's incredible." "I'm not sure I'm ready," Anna admitted, her voice tinged with doubt. "It's such a huge stage." David chuckled softly. "You've been ready for this for years," he said. "You've always had a way of connecting with people, of making them believe in something bigger than themselves. Just be yourself, that's all you need." Anna smiled, his words a balm to her nerves. "Thank you, David," she said. "I needed to hear that." The weeks leading up to the summit were a whirlwind of preparation. Anna worked tirelessly with Elon and the team, crafting a presentation that wove together data, stories, and vision. She revisited communities where Equity First Bank had made a difference, gathering fresh insights and reconnecting with the people who had become the heart of their mission. One afternoon, Anna found herself in a small town in Montana, speaking with a man named Walter. He was a retired teacher who had struggled to manage his finances after his pension was reduced. Equity First Bank had helped him refinance his home, giving him the stability to start a mentorship program for local students. "I thought my life was over," Walter said, his voice thick with emotion. "But you gave me a second chance. And now, I get to give these kids a chance too." Anna felt tears prick her eyes. She reached out, taking Walter's hand in hers. "You're the reason we do this," she said softly. "Your story is what keeps us going." When the day of the summit arrived, Anna stood backstage, her heart pounding. The grand hall was filled with leaders, policymakers, and innovators from around the world. She could hear the hum of their conversations, the weight of their expectations pressing down on her. Elon appeared beside her, his presence steadying. "You're going to be great," he said, his voice calm. "Just remember why you're here." Anna nodded, taking a deep breath. "Thank you," she said, "for everything." When her name was announced, the applause was thunderous. Anna stepped onto the stage, the bright lights momentarily blinding her. She took a moment to steady herself, her hands gripping the edges of the podium. "Good morning," she began, her voice clear and strong. "My name is Anna Jacobs, and I'm here to tell you a story. A story about courage, transformation, and the power of believing in people." She spoke about the journey of Equity First Bank, weaving in the stories of Clara, Walter, and countless others whose lives had been touched by their work. She shared the challenges they had faced, the lessons they had learned, and the vision that continued to drive them forward. As she spoke, the audience grew silent, their attention fully captured. Anna's words were not just a presentation, they were a call to action, a challenge to reimagine what was possible. When she finished, the room erupted into a standing ovation. Anna felt a wave of relief and gratitude wash over her as she stepped back from the podium. Elon met her backstage, his expression one of quiet pride. "You were brilliant," he said simply. The summit marked a turning point for Equity First Bank. The recognition and support they received propelled their mission to new heights, enabling them to expand their reach even further. Yet, amidst the success, Anna remained grounded in the values that had guided her from the beginning. One evening, she returned to Charleston for a quiet visit. She sat on the bench outside the bank, the same bench where Elon had once sat in his disguise. The city was quiet, the air crisp with the promise of spring. Elon joined her a few minutes later, a coffee cup in each hand. He handed one to Anna and sat beside her, the weight of their shared journey settling comfortably between them. "Do you ever think about that first day?" Anna asked, her voice soft. "All the time," Elon replied. "It's where everything started." Anna nodded, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "I still have the note you gave me," she said. "One small act of courage can change everything." Elon smiled, his eyes reflecting a quiet satisfaction. "And it has," he said. "More than I ever could have imagined." As the sun dipped below the skyline, casting the city in a warm golden glow, Anna felt a profound sense of peace. Their work was far from over, but they had built something extraordinary, a legacy of empathy, integrity, and hope. And as she sat beside Elon, the man who had seen her potential before she even saw it herself, she knew that their journey was only just beginning. Months after the Geneva summit, Equity First Bank had become synonymous with transformation. The movement sparked by Elon Musk's daring experiment had grown beyond anyone's imagination, influencing global conversations about equity and financial inclusion. Yet, amidst the grandeur of their achievements, Anna Jacobs found herself returning to the quieter moments, the human stories that made it all worthwhile. Anna had grown into a figure of both admiration and inspiration. She was no longer just a leader within Equity First Bank. She was a voice for change, sought after by policymakers, journalists, and communities alike. Yet, as the movement grew, so did the weight on her shoulders. She often found herself retreating into reflection, seeking grounding in the values that had brought her this far. One evening, Anna stood in her small Charleston apartment, the remnants of a long day scattered around her, a half-empty coffee cup on the table, stacks of reports on the couch, and her notebook open to a page filled with hastily scribbled thoughts. She stared out the window at the city lights, her mind restless. The memory of Walter's words in Montana replayed in her mind, "You gave me a second chance." She had given people hope, yet she wondered if she was giving enough of herself to sustain the momentum. The work was relentless, and though it fueled her purpose, it also drained her spirit. Her phone buzzed, breaking her thoughts. It was a message from Elon. "Join me at the Charleston branch tomorrow morning. I have something to show you." Anna smiled faintly, grateful for his steady presence in her life. She replied with a simple, "I'll be there." The next morning, the winter air was sharp but invigorating as Anna approached the familiar glass doors of the Charleston branch. The bank buzzed with activity, a mix of longtime employees and new faces drawn by the institution's growing reputation. The transformation was palpable, and Anna felt a swell of pride as she stepped inside. Elon was waiting for her near the reception desk, his hands tucked casually into the pockets of his coat. His eyes lit up when he saw her, and he motioned for her to follow him toward the conference room. Inside, the room was filled with familiar faces, Clara from Alabama, Walter from Montana, and others whose stories had shaped Equity First Bank's journey. There were also staff members, community leaders, and even a few new clients. A large screen displayed a map of the United States, with dots marking every community the bank had reached. Elon gestured toward the screen. "This is what we've built," he said, his voice carrying a mix of pride and humility. "But it's not just about the numbers. It's about the people behind them." He stepped aside, inviting Clara to speak. She stood, her voice steady and filled with emotion. "When Equity First came to my town, I didn't just gain a loan. I gained a second chance. And now, I'm helping others find theirs." Walter followed, his tone quieter but no less heartfelt. "This bank gave me the tools to rebuild my life. And because of that, I've been able to give back to my community in ways I never thought possible." Anna listened intently, her heart swelling with gratitude and awe. These were the moments that reminded her why they fought so hard, why they faced resistance and pushed through challenges. The ripple effects of their work were visible, tangible, and deeply human. After the meeting, Elon and Anna sat together in the now empty conference room. The sun streamed through the windows, casting warm light over the table. "What did you think?" Elon asked, his tone casual but curious. Anna leaned back in her chair, exhaling deeply. "It was incredible," she said. "Hearing their stories, it's everything we've worked for." Elon nodded, his gaze distant for a moment. "It's easy to get lost in the big picture," he said. "To focus on the expansion, the numbers, the strategy. But at the end of the day, it's these stories that matter most." Anna looked at him, her expression softening. "Do you ever feel overwhelmed by it all?" she asked. "The expectations, the responsibility?" "All the time," Elon admitted, a small smile tugging at his lips. "But I've learned to focus on what I can control, on the next step, the next person we can help. The rest has a way of falling into place." The next step, as it turned out, was both bold and ambitious. Elon revealed plans to launch Equity First International, a subsidiary dedicated to bringing their model to underserved communities across the globe. The initiative would start with pilot programs in Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America, each tailored to the unique needs of the regions. Anna was tasked with leading the initiative, a role that both thrilled and terrified her. She spent weeks immersing herself in research, meeting with local leaders, and assembling a team of experts who shared her passion for change. One of the first pilots was in a rural village in Kenya, where access to traditional banking was nearly non-existent. Anna and her team introduced mobile banking units powered by solar energy, along with financial literacy programs taught in local languages. During her visit, Anna met Amina, a young woman who had dreams of starting her own tailoring business but had been unable to secure the capital she needed. Through Equity First, Amina received a microloan, along with mentorship and resources to help her succeed. "This is more than money," Amina said, her voice filled with quiet determination. "It's a chance to create a future for myself and my family." As the international programs grew, so did Anna's confidence in the power of their mission. Yet, the work was not without its challenges. Resistance from established financial institutions, logistical hurdles, and cultural barriers tested her resolve at every turn. One particularly difficult negotiation with a local government in Southeast Asia left Anna feeling defeated. She sat in her hotel room that evening, staring at the city lights through her window. Doubts crept in, threatening to overshadow her progress. Her phone buzzed with a message from Elon: "Setbacks are part of the journey. Focus on the lives you're changing." Anna smiled, his words a lifeline in her moment of doubt. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the next day. The challenges were real, but so was the impact. Years later, Equity First Bank had grown into a global movement, its reach extending to every corner of the world. Anna, now a seasoned leader, had become a symbol of what was possible when courage and compassion drove innovation. At a celebratory event marking the bank's 20th anniversary, Anna took the stage to deliver a keynote speech. The audience included world leaders, community members, and employees who had been with the bank since its early days. "As I stand here today," Anna began, her voice steady and filled with emotion, "I'm reminded of how far we've come, and how much further we can go. This journey began with a single act of courage, a single decision to see people not as numbers, but as individuals with dreams, struggles, and infinite potential." She paused, letting her words resonate. "Our work is not finished. But we have shown the world what is possible when we choose to lead with empathy and integrity. Together, we can continue to build a future where every person has the opportunity to thrive." The applause that followed was deafening, but Anna's gaze found Elon in the crowd. He was clapping, his expression one of quiet pride. In that moment, Anna felt the weight of their shared journey, the lives they had touched, and the legacy they had created. Later that evening, Anna and Elon sat together on the balcony of the event venue, overlooking the city lights. The air was crisp, carrying the faint hum of celebration from below. "Do you ever think about how it all started?" Anna asked, her voice soft. "Every day," Elon replied, his tone reflective. "It started with an idea, but it grew because of people like you." Anna smiled, her heart full. "And it grew because of your belief in what's possible." They sat in comfortable silence, the weight of their journey settling over them. The world had changed, and they had been a part of that change. Yet, as they looked toward the horizon, they knew their work was far from over. The ripple of one small act of courage had become a wave, a movement that would outlast them both, leaving a legacy of hope, dignity, and possibility for generations to come. The glow of Equity First Bank's global success had cast long shadows of responsibility over Anna Jacobs. With every step forward, the stakes seemed to rise. The stories of those they helped, the bakers, teachers, and dreamers whose lives had been transformed, were counterbalanced by new challenges, ones that pushed Anna to her limits. Yet, in every challenge, she saw an opportunity to prove that courage, paired with action, could reshape the world. It was late spring, and Charleston was alive with renewal. The warm breeze carried the scent of jasmine, and the streets bustled with life. The bank's headquarters was abuzz with preparations for the launch of their most ambitious project yet, the Community Equity Initiative, a program designed to integrate underserved neighborhoods into thriving financial ecosystems. For Anna, this was personal. It was a return to her roots, a way to give back to the communities she had seen overlooked for so long. One morning, as Anna walked into the conference room, she was met by a sea of faces, old friends and new collaborators. Elon Musk stood at the head of the room, his demeanor as steady as ever. He had become both a mentor and a friend, his vision still driving the heart of their mission. "Thank you all for being here," Elon began, his voice calm but charged with purpose. "Today marks a pivotal moment in our journey. The Community Equity Initiative isn't just about banking, it's about breaking cycles of poverty, fostering entrepreneurship, and empowering individuals to take control of their futures. He turned to Anna, his gaze filled with confidence. Anna will be leading this effort. She's the one who has shown us, time and again, what it means to lead with both heart and strategy. Anna rose to address the room, her hands steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. This initiative is about people, she began. It's about seeing the potential in places others have overlooked and building systems that lift entire communities. We're not just creating accounts, we're creating opportunities. The first phase of the initiative began in the heart of Detroit, a city with a storied past and an uncertain future. For Anna, Detroit represented both challenge and promise. The city's resilience mirrored the very ethos of Equity First Bank, a belief that no obstacle was insurmountable. Walking through Detroit's neighborhoods, Anna felt the weight of the city's history. Vacant buildings stood alongside burgeoning small businesses, their owners working tirelessly to bring life back to the streets. Anna visited one such business, a small cafe run by a man named Malik, who had poured his life savings into building a space where the community could gather. "I've got the passion," Malik said, wiping his hands on a towel as he prepared coffee. "But passion doesn't pay for new equipment or renovations. The banks I've gone to don't think I'm worth the risk." Anna listened, her heart aching at the familiar story. She met Malik's gaze, her voice firm. "You are worth the risk," she said. "And we're here to prove it." Back at the local Equity First branch, Anna worked late into the night with her team, strategizing ways to provide Malik and others like him with the resources they needed. They developed tailored loan packages, mentorship programs, and workshops on financial literacy. Each decision was guided by the principle that banking was not just a service but a partnership. Elon joined her one evening, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He placed one in front of Anna, sitting beside her as she pored over spreadsheets. "You're working yourself to the bone," Elon said, his tone half teasing, half concerned. Anna smiled tiredly. "This feels too important to slow down," she admitted. "Every minute we wait is a missed opportunity for someone like Malik." Elon nodded, his expression softening. "I get it. But remember, the work doesn't stop tomorrow. Pace yourself. You're not just leading a project, you're building a legacy." As the weeks went on, the initiative began to take shape. Equity First hosted community events, inviting residents to share their dreams, their struggles, and their ideas. One evening, Anna stood in front of a packed room, her heart swelling as she listened to stories of resilience and hope. A young woman named Maria stood to speak. She was a single mother who had been denied loans repeatedly despite her thriving handmade jewelry business. "I've been told no so many times," Maria said, her voice trembling. "But I'm still here because I believe in what I'm building, for my daughter, for myself." Anna approached Maria after the event, her eyes brimming with admiration. "You're exactly why we're here," Anna said. "Let's make sure the next time you ask for help, the answer is yes." The turning point came when Equity First partnered with a local nonprofit to open a new community resource center. The center offered everything from business planning workshops to childcare services, creating an ecosystem of support that extended beyond banking. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Anna stood beside Malik and Maria, their stories now emblematic of what the initiative could achieve. As the crowd cheered, Anna felt a surge of pride, but also a quiet sense of responsibility. Each success was a reminder of the work that still lay ahead. Despite the victories, challenges persisted. The initiative faced criticism from larger financial institutions, which accused Equity First of being naive in its approach. Media pundits questioned the sustainability of their model, and some local leaders were skeptical of their intentions. One particularly tense meeting with a city councilman left Anna feeling disheartened. He had dismissed their efforts as idealistic, questioning whether real change could be achieved through such unconventional means. That evening, Anna sat in her hotel room, the city's lights reflecting her restless thoughts. She called Elon, needing his steady presence. "Elon," she said, her voice heavy, "what if they're right? What if we're too idealistic?" Elon's response was immediate. "Idealism isn't a weakness, Anna. It's a strength. It's what pushes us to imagine a better world when everyone else settles for the status quo. And we're proving, every day, that our ideals work." His words reignited the fire in her. She reminded herself that change was never easy, and resistance was a sign they were challenging systems that needed to be challenged. By the end of the year, the Community Equity Initiative had exceeded all expectations. Malik's Cafe had become a cornerstone of his neighborhood, Maria's jewelry business had expanded into a storefront, and countless others had found stability and opportunity through the bank's efforts. At a celebration marking the initiative's success, Anna took the stage to address the crowd. Her voice was steady, filled with conviction. "This isn't just about loans or accounts," she said. "It's about rewriting the narrative, about showing that every person, every community has value. It's about proving that when we invest in people, we all rise together." The applause was deafening, but Anna's focus was on the faces before her, the individuals whose lives had been transformed. They were her reminder that every late night, every tough decision, was worth it. That night, Anna and Elon walked through the quiet streets of Detroit, the weight of their shared journey hanging between them. "Do you ever think about the future?" Anna asked, her voice soft. "All the time," Elon replied. "But I don't think of it as something distant. The future is what we're building now, piece by piece." Anna nodded, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Then let's keep building." And as they walked under the city's streetlights, their footsteps echoing against the pavement, Anna felt a profound sense of peace. They had proven that courage, paired with action, could change lives. And with every step forward, they carried the promise of a brighter, more equitable future, one community at a time. In this incredible story, we followed Anna, a humble bank trainee, and Elon Musk, a visionary who disguised himself to test the humanity of a flawed financial system. Together, they uncovered powerful truths, that one small act of courage can set monumental change in motion, and that real transformation begins with empathy, integrity, and bold action. From helping underserved communities to reshaping banking into a force for good, Anna and Elon proved that even the smallest gestures, like seeing the humanity in someone, can create ripples that change lives. What does this story teach us? It's a reminder that courage is contagious. In our daily lives, whether it's standing up for someone, pursuing a dream others doubt, or challenging a system we believe can be better, we each hold the power to spark transformation. The key is to start, to take that first step with belief and purpose, even if the path ahead feels uncertain. If you've been inspired by Anna and Elon's journey, let's spread this message of hope and action. Hit the like button to show your support, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories that touch the heart and spark the mind. Share this video with friends and family to remind them of the power of a single act of courage. We'd love to hear from you. What part of this story resonated with you the most? How do you think these lessons apply to your own life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. Together, we can inspire more people to act, to believe, and to make the world a better place, one small act at a time. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more incredible stories.